that, that's done for now. Jump onto that, like that. Oh, I am heard. Just give me a second, guys. Okay then. Give me a second, guys. 1 2 1 2. Okay guys, welcome to the Eldar in BTCC, brought to you by Chell, Lawman, Motorsport. That is correct, it is the British Touring Car Championship, and it is rounds 7 and 8 of the championship, and yes, it is the one and only Hoppers in the commentary box as per usual on a Wednesday night, covering this fabulous championship. And yes, I am on a new headset, my favourite one has just broken, so if I'm a bit quiet, please bear in mind. I will try my utmost to literally sort the volume out as well. But we are here at Blue Moon Bay on the reverse circuit, and it is looking likely it's going to be a cracker of a night racing. I can't wait personally to see exactly what is going to happen, and obviously we will be getting some close proximity racing, and who knows, some fast times. Looking at the times already, excuse me, it's looking likely a 108.6 is currently the fastest lap around here. So let us know in the comments who you're rooting for, or who you think is going to be top of the pile this evening for the, obviously, the two races. You've got the sprint race, which is 16 laps, a 10-minute qualifying, and then a 34-lap feature race, where the pit stop race is going to be a crucial. All cars are carrying ballast. I feel sorry for the likes of Panos. He's actually on maximum ballast because he is championship leader. So yes, I'm going to go through the weight, and I'm going to go through what I think is going to happen here this evening at Blue Moon, and it should be a fabulous night of racing. And yeah, it's going to be great to see how well people do. So I'll have a look at if I can find the weight table, because it's something I've easily managed to get. So you've got Panos on 110%. It is the highest the car can go. It is quite very slow, obviously, in the DC Cup Laguna. You know, he's championship leader, and he's looking forward to seeing what he can do. He said he's not really looking forward to being around here, but he's actually setting the pace at the moment with a 1 minute 8.5. so it seems to be the DC Cup Lagoon is on fire at the moment. Not literally on fire, but you know, it seems to be working to its advantage there. Then you got Chris Wheatley in the Rocket Cargo Rob Grovit's Honda Accord. He's actually on screen. He is on 97 weight, so it's a bit lower down the order, and it seems to be going to be working for his advantage. It's a bit heavier, but it's not as heavy as obviously Panos' DC Laguna. Then you've got Adam Morgan in a Russell Spence / Will Hoy Arena Motorsport Laguna from '99, the independent run. He is on 101, so it's not British Touring Car Star, it is the Welsh namesake. Obviously, you know, people are thinking, have you really got Touring Car Star Adam Morgan Racing? Well, we have our own virtual star with the same name, so he's going to be looking forward to seeing what he can do. He's obviously in the mid-pack, so he's not as heavy, but he's sort of thereabouts. Then you got Scott Dalby, currently 5th in the standings on 102% weight in the McNeil Team Dynamics Nissan Primera from 99-98. So obviously he's going to be wanting some great success in the championship, and hopefully going to get onto the podium if he can. He wants, my prediction is he'll probably get a top 3 because he's on 102, but it seems like it can be quite a fantastic sort of way for him. Then you've got Vlad Bogdanovic. He is actually back this week by the looks of it. From what we've heard, his testing's been going okay. It seems to be working well for him. We'll yet to see whether it's going to have any issues, but he's actually on 95% with the weight, so he's bottom of the tree, he's bottom of the pile in the Master Fit Vauxhall Vetra on 95%, so he's going to be basically wanting to go out guns blazing this evening, because it will be exactly where he wants to be for this evening, and it's going to be very close to see exactly what is going to happen, because you know he missed last week and he missed a couple of races, so you know he's back this evening hopefully with no issues, so we'll see exactly what he can do this evening. And as I say, there's quite a lot of interest going on in the paddock at the moment, talking about obviously Panos escaping with that championship lead in that DC Laguna from the 98 era. So yes, it is obviously Super Touring era's liveries. There is some fantastic machines out there. I believe Nate Fletch is missing this evening, so there'll be no Renault Laguna, the Works Lagunas, the Williams car from 96. I think he's getting a driver jumping in this evening for him. Not too sure who it's going to be of yet, but as soon as the rest get into the lobby, we'll soon find out. So just bear with me 1 second, just checking who is here. Lee Fitzy in the Rapid Fit Ford Mondeo is also here. Don't forget the Super Softs can be only used for qualifying on the sprint race, but then come the feature race they have the mediums and the Super Softs, so they can change them between 15 minutes time in the 15-minute time frame. Obviously, you know, to get that, as I say, pit stops are crucial around here, because the nature of the circuit isn't very long. It is a very short lap around here, and obviously going into certain corners, the banking obviously into turn number 1, and obviously out towards the last turn, if you will, going back onto the banking section. It can catch you, especially with the walls on either side. Some places like here where Panos is going now into the latter half of the lap, it is a long sweeping right, and the barrier can be unforgiving. You got the barrier on the inside as well as the outside in some corners. So he's just jumped into pit lane, but we'll see exactly who's going to be here in a while. We've got obviously Lee Fitzy out on track in that Ford Mondeo. Seems to be quite a very quick car. It was very quick at if I remember what, try and jog my memory, last week, if I remember rightly, just get the points table up so I remember. Sardegna, that is where we were last week. It looked like it was very close and personal last week. A couple of races were, the sprint and the feature race were very equally matched. It seemed there's quite a lot of people, you know, trying to push for quite some time, and there was obviously some very interesting moves, and obviously quite close proximity. Dean Atkinson in the Nissan Primera, speaking of the devil, he's just joined, and he's going to be hopefully looking forward to a good night of racing. He didn't do well at Sardegna last time out, and it just seemed, you know, the Works Primera seemed to be pushing for quite some time, and it was very close to see exactly what was going on. So, you know, who knows exactly what is going to happen. Looking at, obviously, Lawman trying to come back from a very disappointing couple of rounds where he's had to miss out with mechanical issues, and it's just been not the easiest bit of his season for this time round, but hopefully he'll get through it this time round. And yes, it is going to be very important for the guys to get that momentum going. So obviously Blue Moon, obviously, you know, it is famous for the banking and some of the turns. Obviously going into the latter half, we'll go with Scott Dalby currently with a 106.1 in practice. This is only just practice session, getting used to the cars and getting used to the track. Obviously the hairpin not here, but the next hairpin, so you got this hairpin can be treacherous, but the one going under the bridge and then back round on themselves, that is where one of the key moments would be for this evening for overtaking. So yeah, there was a lot, and obviously you got the Brain Box commentator, the BTCC Brain Box Encyclopedia, which is me, doing the absolute utmost for the best of commentary. So if you can hear me, let me know. If you can't, let me know as well, because I really need to know. It's not really a life or death issue, it's just I'm on a new headset, so it's kind of trying to get used to that at the moment or two. But hopefully we'll be on for some top-notch racing. It will be very good as Scott actually breaks his car. I don't know how he broke his car, but he seems to push it on. So we're waiting for quite a few more people to jump in to the lobby. But yes, it's going to be fantastic to see. We do have qualifying dead on 8 o'clock, so you know we've got quite a bit of time yet for these guys. And yeah, I'll probably end up doing a lot of talking tonight. I've got a bottle of water and I've got some orange Lucozade to keep me going, because you know it is very paramount that I do have a lot of fluids, because you know with talking for a long time it tends to be very exciting. In this league has put on some good races from when we went to Bronze Hatch, and then obviously to the likes of Sardegna, and of course round Largo is where the other round was. Just tried to jog my memory. So as soon as Bronze Hatch came around, you know, everyone was going for it, and it seemed like there was a good amount of racing thereabouts. And obviously going into Largo was quite a lot of topsy-turvy, and as I say with Sardegna, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what they're going to do here at Blue Moon this evening, because obviously with the nature of the track isn't that long. It seems to be a very short lap, with obviously 107's now been proved by Vlad in the Master Fit Vetra. So who knows what is going to happen for this evening. It seems likely we're going to be on course for a good night of racing, and you know it is going to be very close to a bit of a nice idea. Hello Mr. Stevanovic, how are you mate? Good luck tonight. Always happy to see me in the comments box. Thank you mate, means a lot. You know, it's nice to be part of the group, it's nice to be in the commentary box as per usual for these guys. I do like it, you know, does help us out massively as well. So, you know, please like and subscribe to Eldar Sim Racing, and if you'd like to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, do tell them the legendary Hoppers did send you, because they'll know who exactly you're on about. But we've got quite a few people just out there at the moment. Lee Fitzy trying to push that Ford Mondeo to the ragged edge, it seems. So we'll see exactly how well he does. Currently 4th in testing at the moment. That's probably because the rest are in the pit box at the moment, probably sitting there or just having a bit of a chill out time before they get ready for the 10-minute qualifying. That will be at 8 o'clock. So looking at the times at the moment, and from what I'm seeing, that Vlad seems to be setting the pace with that 107. Seems to be working okay, seems to be having no issues at the moment, so it's good to see how well that Master Fit Vetra will do this evening. So there's quite a lot of cars currently just waiting to see what goes on. I think Adam Morgan currently is on auto drive, whether he's just having a bit to drink and just getting himself into the zone. You know, he's kind of very daunting for some of these. Well, it's not daunting for these guys, but if you were racing against a pack of these, it's, you know, shows exactly how much it means to these guys to get these race wins. You just got Dean Atkinson in that Nissan Primera, the works one from 98-99 livery. Obviously, you know, it proved to be a championship winning car in 99, and it's going to be very great. And obviously Nikolaj Stevanovic is actually cheering on his mate Vladman, which is good to see, which the Serbians are more than welcome in this championship. You know, we do have a lot of catered for anyone around the globe. You know, you don't have to be very good at racing, you can jump in and it can be sorted. You don't have to be top of the world, you don't have to be really world class. You can be a rookie and you can be thrown into a championship that caters your racing ability. Obviously I used to race, but now I'm in the commentary box, and yeah, sometimes I do miss the racing, but I like doing commentary. I like to do a bit of both, you know, best of both worlds basically. So obviously Super Touring was formed in the 90s at the British Touring Cars. Just give you a bit of background about the whole championship itself. In the 90s up until 2000, obviously after 2000 it didn't go Super Touring. It became too expensive to keep the cars running. Obviously with the guys here, they are running Mazda Attenders, but to make it even more professional, we call them the cars by their period. Like for example, Scott Dalby's got the Team Dynamics Nissan Primera, previously driven by Matt Neal in real life. So you know, Super Touring was becoming more expensive, and then obviously after 2000 they scrapped Super Touring and decided to go more cheaper, and then now it's now the next generation touring car era. Obviously now reliving the Super Touring era in an online championship is phenomenal, and it is fantastic to see exactly how well it is going to go for these guys this evening. Obviously, you know, there is a lot of action going to be happening this evening. It seems, you know, certain cars are going to play well around here. I think the weight is going to be marginally affected, but I believe from downwards where people are that are on less weight, excuse me, they're going to be better at getting a bit more support within that bracket, if you know what I mean. Obviously with the weight, Success Palace was introduced in the last year of Super Touring in 2000. It was never previously thought of in the likes of 98, 99, 97, 96. You know, thank you Darren, it's sounding good, I'm glad, thank you mate. It's working perfectly then, it's nice to hear it is working spot on. Nearly ready to practice, no worries mate, take your time, no rush, we've got plenty of time mate, you know that. So obviously Darren Baldwin, aka Adolfo Gaming, he is the host for this evening in the Honda Accord that previously was raced by James Thompson and Pete Cox in 98, is the period livery that he is using. Obviously he was having a bit of a joke and a laugh with me this afternoon, saying he was going to race an MG, but MGs weren't in Super Touring, so you know, that's probably, you know, a bit of an easy thing to get confused with. But who knows what season 2 of the British Touring Cars may bring. It may bring the sort of newer cars into the fact of looking, but season 2 is a long way off yet. We've still got a handful of rounds to go. But obviously, you know, feature races were featured in 98 as well as a one-shot showdown qualifying, which seemed to be a bit of a favourite between teams, and some teams were working well I remember rightly from the 98 first round at Thruxton, you got the likes of Lawman that was driving for Williams, the Renault Laguna team that had Jason Plato in, and the first one-shot qualifying he binned it at the chicane, literally went straight line the chicane, and because of that the stewards thought he gained an advantage and he lost his time. So that's a bit of history how that came about. Obviously feature races, the pit stop races came to effect in the latter part of Super Touring, just to spice things up instead of having sprint races that they used to have, and it obviously seemed to be worked quite well for the time being. But obviously as the cars have got faster and a bit more quicker now, it's a bit uncertainty with certain tracks can't have pit stops because of obviously the tight pit lanes and stuff like that. So you know, this is why we have a retro touring car championship, to make it more fun and more enjoyable and potentially more exciting. So yeah, you know, you think, well, how do you know all this stuff? Well, I do, because I am obviously hooked up on British touring cars. I have been for quite some time now. Even in the early days I know quite a lot, so you know, and that's why the guys have got me in the commentary box and they're probably thinking, oh, okay, do we think Craig is going to be missing? So the 406 of Craig Thomas is going to be missing by the sounds of it. Motorstorm Hero, who is Motorstorm Hero? That will be very interesting to see who he is. It could be in for a good shout. Dean Atkinson, however, got a bit of damage on that, a bit of a damage. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen for that Primera. The Works Primera of Dean Atkinson seems to be quite an interesting established racer. He's obviously, just to give a shout out to the likes of Dean, he's the reigning WSTC champion that we run on a Friday, as well as the Eliminator. He's just clipped the wall again, so that's probably where he's had the damage from, and it is a bit unforgiving with that. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen for this evening, and yes, it is going to be so we'll see how well things go in a moment or two. So we'll see who's going to get on top of pole position when it comes to qualifying. 10 minutes of qualifying, so a lot can happen in qualifying. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen for quite some time. We'll see exactly how well things are going to go. So just have a look at what is going on at the moment, just to get that into perspective, just making sure. So Motorstorm Hero then, covering for Craig Thomas. No idea who he is, but I'm sure they'll tell me who he is. So we'll see exactly what Motorstorm Hero is going to do for Craig Thomas this evening. And so the 406 at the moment then seems to be the car to beat after Largo's feature race. Seemed to be a very quick car. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen. So yes, it seems like the headset is working well. That's good to hear. Which makes me absolutely buzzing, because I feel like we need to so Motorstorm Hero is actually Noah, so he is going to be covering for Craig Thomas this evening, so it is good to see how well he's going to do. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen. So you've got Gareth Morris in the Audi A4 just entered, and Brian Moncani in the BMW. So obviously, you know, it's going to be very close. So obviously Noah's going to be making his debut this evening, so it's going to be very close. So we'll see how well things go for these guys. We'll just go variable camera views for now. Where's he at? It's there. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. So you've got Adam Morgan just going down the front straight there. So we'll see exactly how well everyone's going to do. So you've got Lawman followed by Brian Moncani in the BMW. Gareth Morris is Audi A4. If you want to know a bit about the Audi A4, it was used by the likes of Frank Beeler and of course John Bincliffe throughout 96 and 97. The car originally was four-wheel drive, so it actually had a lot more advantage than the likes of obviously the BMW and the rest of the field, because it was a four-wheel drive car and it could get off the line very quick, very adaptable in the wet, until they changed the format for 98 when they had Frenchman Yvan Muller taking over from Frank Beeler, which was the 96 champion, whereas Yvan was famous for bringing the two-wheel drive format of the Audi A4 in Germany in 97. So there's a bit of history there for you guys. Or if you are a BTC guru like myself, then there you go, there's a bit of a fact for you as well. You've got Daniel, aka Damien Black, in the Motorsport Vauxhall Cavalier. That is looking very close to see what he is, so I'll go through the weight for the guys that have just joined us so you guys know exactly what weight they're on. Brian Moncani, the Belgian, on 98. Pokovic in the Alpha just joined on 99%, and then you've got Gareth Morris's Audi A4, he's on 104%, and Daniel Pays, I believe that's how you pronounce your name, mate, I do apologise if I get it wrong, on 100, and Noah, that's covering for Craig, is on 100% as well. So yes, it is a lot of things, but yes, it's going to be fantastic. Hey Craig, gutted you're not out there, mate, really gutted, but I believe work comes first, mate. Never fear, it is fine, because we'll get you covered, mate, and hopefully Noah will do very well for you. I'm just trying to think where he is now. He's currently probably 4th on there, so the Peugeot 406. Famous green and gold livery, the SO Ultra machine. Driven by Tim Harvey and Patrick Watts in 97, and then in 98 it was driven by Tim Harvey and of course Paul Rodisic, the New Zealander. Obviously Peugeot's last hurrah for BTCC until they came back in 2001 for the 406 Coupe, which was obviously driven by BTCC legend Steve Soper, obviously in the fluorescent green Peugeot 406 Coupe. So, you know, there's a bit of cars that have obviously moved on to better things, and then obviously, you know, the likes of obviously Chris Wheatley, it's an independent rocket cargo Honda Accord driven by Rob Gravitt. So, you know, it's very close to see how well that's going to do for this evening within the likes of certain bits and pieces. So, you know, got to give John in the DC Cook Renault Laguna, the Tommy Rustad independent winner from 98. So, you know, there's a lot of facts about that. It's an XJ Plato chassis that it was run. So yeah, it's fascinating how well this geezer in the commentary box, aka me, knows a lot. But we're going to be gearing up for a fantastic qualifying session here in a little while. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen for this evening. I believe we're going to be in. I'm going to be in for a bit of a moment while we figure out what's going on. But looking at some of the cars then in period liveries from 98 and obviously 99, the Nissan Primera seemed to be a very dominant car. When it won the manufacturers championship, pipped Volvo to manufacturers, I believe, that season in 98, with Anthony Reid and the late David Leslie driving for Ray Malik Motorsport, as it was known, who ran the team. And obviously in 99 you had David Leslie and of course Frenchman Rion, I can't pronounce his full name, bear with me. So yeah, Isla won the championship, beat Sweden's Rickard Rydell, obviously in the Volvo, but it seemed likely that there was a lot of tension between Volvo and of course Nissan in 98 for basically Sweden's Rickard Rydell won for Volvo. So Dean Atkinson gets it a bit crossed up out of that hairpin. That is exactly what you don't want to do, is get that corner wrong at the hairpin. Chris Wheatley following him round. Scott Dalby, however, in the Team Dynamics Primera. So yeah, Matt Neal's Team Dynamics Primera won the sprint feature race at Donington Park in 99 when it was round number 2, which seemed to be the first independent to win a race outright, and Matt Neal got quite a bit of money for that, and then obviously went on to go and win the overall British Touring Car title in 2005, 2006 and 2011, driving for Team Dynamics. So, you know, the team's very historically race winning. So Scott Dalby may have the chance to rekindle some of that retro stardom. Obviously Gareth Morris in the Audi A4, Lodestorm Hero aka Noah, I'll try and remember your name, mate, and Craig Thomas's Peugeot 406 green and gold machine. Lee Fitzy in the Rapid Fit 4 Mondeo, seems to be a very quick car. It was very quick in 2000 when it was run by ProDrive for the 2000 championship run, currently won by Alan Manu in the last hurrah for Ford in the Super Touring era, and it seemed to be very close to see exactly how well things were going to go for these guys. Then you've got obviously Adam Morgan, the Russell Spence and Will Hoy, Arena Motorsport, Renault Laguna. The chassis was a 98 model, I believe, and then you got Pokovic in the Alfa Romeo. I believe that is the 94 livery, maybe the 95 livery, or it is an old German Super Touring Alfa Romeo. Seems to be having a bit of an issue there with Dean Atkinson at the moment, so having a bit of a tap there. Vlad in the Vauxhall Vetra, the Master Fit from 98. Seems to be a very quick car, so you know there is quite a lot of interest. We've got Daniel in the Vauxhall Cavalier, the Richard K Mint Motorsport Cavalier from 96. It wasn't 95 like I said it was last week or the week before. It's actually from 96, because Richard K actually ran a Ford Mondeo in 95, so it jumped into 96, and I think it then got taken over in 97. I can't remember who by. I think it was by a chap called Jamie Wall, if I remember rightly from previous history, but we'll try and figure it exactly out. So you've got Darren Baldwin, series host in the James Thompson Peter Cox Honda Accord from 98, and obviously Brian Moncani's 95 Vina and GoldenEye, driven by David Brabham in 95. So it's a BMW disguised, but it's going to be great to see how well things go for these guys this evening. It seems quite a lot of rubber's already been laid down. So we'll see exactly how well things go this evening for these guys. I believe we're going to see if someone else is going to turn up, but at the moment we are missing quite maybe a few more people at the moment. So I believe Chris Clements is taking over Nate Fletch this evening, as he did last week. So it's going to be seeing exactly how well he's going to do. So yeah, it's going to be fantastic to see. Let us know, guys, what you think, who you think is going to win, and let us know how well things are going to go this evening. I hope it's going to be a successful night of racing. So it sounds like Pokovic is lagging. So the Alpha's already having a bit of issues thereabouts, so we'll see exactly what's going to happen. So he's going to do a reset. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen. So obviously Darren trying to push that Honda Accord into a good place. He's obviously back in the frame now after missing 2 rounds of the championship. Obviously he had Nick helping him, Nick Sargent, who's the founder of Eldar Sim. Gives us a flash of the light, so you know he's looking forward to seeing how well he does. He's actually a well-established racer, believe it or not. Does a bit of commentary as well in his spare time when he gets the chance to grab the mic off the likes of myself and Malcolm Argyle. So who knows what he's going to do this evening. I wish him all the best. I wish actually everyone all the best of luck, because it's going to be fantastic to see how well things are going to go for the Chell Lawman Motorsport British Touring Car Championship. So if you just joined the stream, guys, welcome. I am Hoppers, and I do absolutely astounding job in this league for this championships commentary. I make the guys really enjoy it, and they really enjoy my free time as well. My free time is taken up by doing this, but I don't mind it. It's something I really adapted to quite well, if I'm being honest. So see how well everyone's going to do. It looks like at the moment though Vlad is grass cutting slightly but surely, but we'll see exactly what's going to happen. But excuse me. So we'll see exactly how well everyone's going to do for this evening. So we'll see how well it goes. I believe we're just waiting for a few more people to come into the lobby, but we're not far away for qualifying for round number 7 of the championship. It's actually technically round number 5, but if you're like me and you go by rounds, it's actually it's actually races 7 and 8 of the championship, but it's actually round 7 and 8 if you like me. But obviously that's just me being a touring car fanatic. So we'll see what exactly goes on. So we'll see how well things go for this evening. So looking at certain cars out on track, obviously Darren's trying to push that Honda as best as he can into that obviously give me a second, people. But we're going to see what happens. Hello, Scott. Nice to see you, mate. Glad to have me on comms. Thank you, mate. It means a lot. You know that. But it's going to be very close, because looking at whether we get it's a bit of a hectic moment at the moment. So we'll see how well things go. Adam Morgan's slightly worn tyres at the moment. Do apologise, guys, for a bit of silence. For a moment, we're just Rusty can't get in because it's full. So we'll see exactly how well these guys are going to go. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen. There's quite a few people. Motorstorm Hero then, so Noah on his debut, just currently debutising for and subsidising for Craig Thomas this evening in that Peugeot with a 107.3 then. So it seems the Peugeot's in a good shape or form, and it's going to be very great to see how well he's going to do. So we'll quickly make sure everyone's going to be around. So I believe Andy White is also here in the Toyota Carina, which was previously driven by Lee Brooks in '96 as an independent. So the Toyota Carina seems to be a very easy car to be around, but wasn't very successful in the sort of touring car. Well, it was very quick as a touring car, but it wasn't never materialised into any quick succession point scoring positions. But well, when I say point scoring, I mean be very quick. It wasn't winning much races as it did when it came to obviously a Corolla in the late 2020s and stuff like that. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen for this evening. So we'll see how well things go. Vlad goes fastest again in practice, and we'll see how well things go. I believe Chris Clement is going to be covering for Nate Fletcher. Yes, he is, in the Renault Laguna, the Works Laguna from 90. I believe that's the 96 livery. It isn't the 97, because the 97 was a bit more better than that, I believe. Not that the livery was horrible, it was just obviously kind of 96, and I believe the 94 livery was kind of different. Funny enough, Renault actually entered the championship as a Renault 19 in 93, and then obviously you had the likes of Alan Menu and Will Hoy in 96 in the Laguna, and then obviously with Alan Menu and Jason Plato in 97. So Renault's history in touring cars, you know, very different style liveries. Obviously it went to green instead of yellow and blue for 98, and then went to a sort of a metallic green for 99 with Jason Plato and Jean-Christophe Bouillon racing for them. So yeah, it's going to be fantastic night of racing. I can't wait, personally. We'll just go on to obviously the list for a moment or two, just to see what happens. We'll do so, looking at obviously what the drivers are thinking. So obviously we've got the weight there, exactly what they've got, how much power they should technically have. They should all have the correct power, I believe, but the weight is slightly different, variations. I believe some are going to be on the same or thereabouts. So, you know, it should be a very good proximity for these guys. So we'll go through exactly the weight in a couple of moments time as well, and we'll just double check that. So at the moment then you've got Darren Baldwin trying to push that Honda all the way up to the back of Noah's Peugeot at the moment, it seems. So it's going to be very quick. Times around here are now a 107.2, so it's times are considerably coming down. Just remember, it is practice, so anything can happen for these guys. You've got the likes of Scott Dalby in the Team Dynamics Nissan Primera, currently 5th at the moment, trying to push on. Whether he gets that car onto a podium finish. He actually did really well within the Eldar Sim Endurance League on Monday at Le Mans, so he's in my tips for getting onto the podium this evening as well. So, you know, some of the guys are well established. So you've got Gareth Morris's Audi A4 seems to be struggling at the moment, whether that's the weight, it seems. but then you've got Adam Morgan as well. Andy White's Toyota Carina, followed by Pokovic's Alpha at the moment. The Alpha seems to be getting a bit squeezed and a bit hung up to drive by Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord there. They both had a bit of a prang going out of that corner there, so into turn number 2 then it pushed Pokovic a bit wide. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. We've got try to find him out on track. Panos is 7th in that DC Cook Laguna, so we'll be very good to go very shortly. And we'll just get the guys just practicing. They're going to be obviously wanting to push on quite a bit this evening for the sprint race. Obviously, reverse of race number 1, the sprint race will be the grid for the feature race, which will provide some very close entertainment, especially with it being a pit stop race as well. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen in around 8 minutes time then. So we'll see how well things go for these guys. So it's going to be very close indeed. Oh dear Lord, that's not cool. So Brian Moncani's just informed me he's been practicing the wrong way round. He's been practicing the normal layout, not this layout. What's he like? So the BMW driver, the Belgian, trying to push on, but he's just informed me he's been going the other way, not this way. So it's easy to get wrong, but it's the same layout, mate. I'm sure the guys will understand. But 6 minutes time then we'll be gearing up for what's going to be a very fun sprint race qualifying session. So at the moment Vladman seems to be pushing of that Vauxhall Veteran, wants to try and push on. He is the lightest car in the field, so he will probably get a very decent start into the likes of turn number 1 and into this section, maybe depending on how quick everyone else does. The heaviest car obviously is Panos's DC Cook Laguna with 110%. Will seem to be a very interesting start. It looked like it was bogging down at Sardegna. It was like Darren claims he's just going to be changing tyres, maybe just for the likes of the qualifying. Obviously racing super softs are only allowed for qualifying and the sprint race, so it will be allowing a lot of people to jump in, and it will be very close indeed. He's just now just going to make sure the super softs are going to be used for qualifying as well as the sprint race. It may seem weird for the guys, but it's not that at all weird. But we'll see exactly what's going to happen. And speaking of devil, Mr. Christian Swire has just commented, "Good evening, mate. How's it going? Why aren't you racing? Be nice to see you back racing, mate, if you do come back one day. You know, you'd be more than welcome to come back. But we'll see how well things go. Just let everyone enter the lobby, and then I'll get the weight settings back up so everyone can see exactly how much." That's cool, mate. No worries. Working hard and then you'll be coming back as soon as possible. I get that, mate. It's no problem. I understand that. So we'll just wait for the likes of Lee Fitzy and of course Vladman to get into the lobby, as well as Darren, so I can get the weight of their cars to be produced on stream. So we're just waiting for Vlad now to enter the lobby. Has he got a bit of an issue? That we're yet to be thereabouts. We've got around about 4 minutes till we start, mate. Till qualifying starts, but we've got a full lobby, so 4 minutes till racing. Well, the qualifying session starts. We'll see exactly what is going to happen. There we go, he's entered. So let's have a look. Vlad says, is his thing okay? Where is he? Yeah, he should be on 1,010 kilograms. Let's have a look. I don't know how that works. So I believe Vlad's okay, but it's very difficult to see because he's just, you know, he will be fine. Brian Montana's BMW somehow has crashed somewhere. As Darren says, he's heavy. That's because, mate, you are. It's because you're second in the championship. That's why you're heavy. Stop putting yourself down there, mate. You're a good established racer with 2 minutes to go before qualifying. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. It seems Vlad's got the wrong power and weight. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. Or is that Andy White that's got the wrong one? It seems we'll exactly jump in, so we're just going to wait till everyone's got the right settings done. So it's going to be very close at the moment. Gareth Morris's LDA4 currently on stream. So we'll see exactly. See how well everyone's going to go for this evening. The sprint race qualifying is coming right up, and will be very good to see how well things go within this evening. Obviously, the guys are just still practicing for a moment or two, so we won't be long till we get underway. It's like the two Welsh guys, Gareth Morris and of course Chris Wheatley, having a bit of a contest. So you've got Gareth Morris with a bit of damage in that LDA4 then, hitting that barrier. So we'll see exactly how well things go. So you've got Noah there in the Peugeot 406. See how well he does in his debut race this evening. So we'll just double check that Vlad has the right settings for his weight. I believe that is correct. So let's have a look. He is trying to find where he's there on stream now, so he's literally correct now. So we are good to go then, very shortly, for qualifying for round number 7 of the championship. Well, it's actually round number 5, but if you go on rounds like I do, it's round number 7 of the championship. So qualifying is about to start. You do not want to miss the action, guys. Grab a drink, grab something to eat, because you do not want to miss this. It is going to be a cracker, and we will see exactly how well things are going. So qualifying now is about to go, and it's about to go green. Who is going to be the first to exit pit lane? Let's have a look. Everyone seems to be good to go. It could be, I'm not too sure, mate, and I'll double check that after. But it looks like Darren's just pulled off to one side, making sure everyone is out of pit lane then. So you've got obviously Noah followed by Brian Moncani, but the timing screen is giving me a bit of a wobble at the moment. So Darren's just going to be sat there for a moment, whether he's just letting the traffic clear for the time being. So there we go, he's underway. So Adam Morgan then leads them out of pit lane, will be the first car to go onto his flying lap. They may get quite a few around here, because with the nature of the circuit being very short. So you've got Adam Morgan versus Noah versus Dean Atkinson at the moment. So Laguna versus Peugeot versus Nissan at the moment, followed by another Laguna, followed by a Honda, and an Audi, and another Laguna, and an Alfa. So we'll see exactly what these guys are going to do. The tow round here might be a bit crucial, as well as certain other bits and pieces. It looks like at the moment certain cars are going to be pushing on for quite some interesting moments. But that's exactly what's going to happen into the likes of turn number 1 and turn number 2. It looks like at the moment though, Brian Moncani's BMW has not been shown. It's looking a bit weird at the moment. He seems to be shown on the stream, but he's not. It looks like a restart is going to be in order for this evening. So it seems to be a bit of a weird one. So whether the guys are going to restart is yet another thing. But are they going to restart? Because times are coming thick and fast, and Lawman goes first with, so they need a restart by the looks of it. I don't know whether that's to do with Vlad or Vlad's just left as well. It's going to be a bit of a weird one. So we'll see exactly what's going to happen. It seems the likes of Pokovic and of course Vlad seems to be a bit of a weird one at the moment. So it's going to be very close then. Qualifying will be back up and running in a moment or two. So it looks like a couple of guys are just going to be waiting for them to come back for so it's going to be, this is obviously going to be a bit delayed, but we should be okay. So let's see what's going to happen for round number 7's qualifying. It's going to be restarted in a moment or two. So we should be very good to go. So qualifying now is going to be underway for the second restart. So we should be good to go. Chris Wheatley will lead them out, followed by Adam Morgan, followed by, there's quite a few people now leaving pit lane, so hopefully we are good to go and we should see exactly what's going to happen. Panos and Gareth Morris almost going out pit lane together. And obviously Vlad versus Pokovic, and of course Daniel versus Scott Dalby, and of course Darren, followed by Lee Fitzy, and of course Andy White are going to be the last ones to leave. So Chris Wheatley, however, first one to jump out pit lane, as he forever does. He wants to jump out and get that Rocket Cargo Honda Accord into a good position by the looks of it. So we are good to go. They're just out on their out laps then, seeing exactly how well things are going to go for round number 7, the qualifying session. It seems to be a very quick times at the moment. Maybe the 107s, maybe 106s. We'll see exactly what is going to happen. Obviously they're just playing it cool just to heat into the tyres and get their lap times considerably where they need to be. So we'll see exactly how well everyone does. So you've got Chris Clements in that Renault Laguna, followed by Dean Atkinson's Primera. So it seems everyone has actually made it out of pit lane. So they're out onto their first flying laps then. And we'll see how well things go. It seems like Lee Fitzy just is playing it cool. Obviously Darren with that Honda Accord trying to push on. He's just at the tail of the field at the moment, obviously making sure everyone exited. So Chris Wheatley then coming through the hairpin into that infield section, pushing on. He's won here in the past in Toyota Yaris, I believe, if I remember rightly. So he's going through that chicane now, sort of a chicane, into the banking at turn number 5 into turn number 6, and to complete the lap he's about to do a 1 minute it's going to be a very quick lap. I think it's going to be a 1 minute there we go, a 1 minute 9.0, and then Motorstorm Hero goes a 1 minute 7, so Norrie goes a 1 minute 7.4. Chris Clements with a 107.8. Lawman, however, 107.2, so the Vauxhall Vectra somehow pips the Peugeot 406 into first place then. The Laguna second, Dean Atkinson with 107.9, Pokovic with 108.2, and then you've got Scott Dalby with a 108.248, and then Gareth Morris, however, with a 108.3. pushed him down a bit. Andy White though, however, with a 107.9, and Darren Baldwin with a 108.4. So cars are coming thick and fast then with the times, and it seems to be very close. But what is going to happen for this evening? Because at the moment, looking at the lap times, traffic is now crucial for Vlad. He's got to try and push on. He's first in the times, but he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him at the moment. Adam Morgan with a 108.4 then, so that's pushed him sort of thereabouts. Brian Moncani, however, with a 108. What was that? 108.2. Scott Dalby with 108.077. Daniel with a 108.777. Brian Moncani gets it a bit crossed up. Out of there, I believe Mudstorm Hero Noah's parked up. Whether he's had a bit of an issue getting that Peugeot started, unless he's just waiting. He's had a bit of a problem. He's second at the moment in the times. Andy White going into pit lane to change some more tyres then. By the looks of it, 5.5 minutes to go. So we've got quite a few cars trying to push on. You've got Panos holding up Vladman at the moment. DC Cook, Renault Laguna versus the Masterfit Vetra going through the latter half of the lap then. Vladman tries to get past him, gets held up still. That's going to hold him up. Still was purple that time round. But he's got a lot of traffic, and this is what I mean. Traffic is going to be vital this evening. You know, it's going to be very close, especially going down to the top two. Pokovic with 108.4, 108.1. And Vlad's gone into pit lane and sitting out for quite some time. Daniel with a 108.045, so that's going to be very close. The guys that have just come out onto fresher tyres then, fresher rubber, trying to push on. They will be obviously pushing, trying to get there. Chris Clements, however, third place at the moment then. Fastest lap was a 107.835 because that's his fast lap on his out lap. He seems to be at the moment pushing that Laguna to its absolute pace. Seems Noah's gone into pit lane as well, so there's quite a few in pit lane with 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Maybe just to get a bit of tyres and probably push on and get out of that traffic, because traffic is kind of vital. That's playing in the hands for some people at the moment. So Rusty jumps into pit lane rather. Andy White goes through the latter half of the first half of the lap in that tyre to Carina. Dean Atkinson, however, on his outlap, another outlap, so they're going to try and push on. We'll see exactly what's going to happen with 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So there's quite a few cars at the moment then just trying to push on. Seems the heavier the weight it is, the more tyre wear it gets. Chris Wheatley then up into third with a 107.717. So the Honda Accord, the rocket cargo machine, trying to push on. He might do very well around here. He seems to be very adaptable in that Honda Accord going into that first couple of turns. He's going to be heading into that hairpin now, the right hairpin, then into the left hairpin. It is going to throw, it can throw you wide. Well, at least it's not onto the lethal curbs like it has been if you were going the other way. But at the moment, still third then. Vlad still first place then. And you've got Andy White up into fourth with a 107.750. So the Toyota Carina driver up into fourth then. At the moment, splitting the Renault Laguna at the moment of Chris Clements. So we'll see what Vlad's doing. He goes purple there with 2 minutes and 43 seconds to go in qualifying. Noah currently second on his debut. Got a bit of traffic between Lee Fitzy and of course Pokovic, but Noah gets through, carves his way through that traffic like a butter to knife. So it seems going to be, or a knife to butter rather, not butter to knife. What was I on about? But currently trying to push that Peugeot then to its absolute limit on his debut then, making that Peugeot as fast as he can be. Panos with a 108.366. So it seems the DC Cook Laguna struggling at the moment, pushes him into 12th though. However, Vlad went a bit slower that time, but we've got 1 minute and 54 seconds to go in qualifying for round number 7, the sprint race. So Noah's about to cross the line. There's a 108.422 there, so He's going to be pushing that Peugeot all the way. He's probably going to want to push it to its advantage, and we'll see how well he's going to do. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him now. So Chris Wheatley, however, coming through that half, seems to be jumping into that time. Adam Morgan, however, with 107.6, I believe. That's pushed him still in third place though, however. Adam Morgan 7th though with that time with 107.9. Brian Moncani now was beaten. I think he was actually, where is he on the times? He's actually 6th there with a 107.8. Scott Dalby 7th with a 107.902. Gareth Morris in that Audi A4 then with a 108.0272. Couldn't get my words out then. Darren with that Honda record with 108.006, so that's put him 10th at the moment. Lee Fitzy with a 108.2, which still puts him 14th at the moment. So it looks like Panos struggling with that weight in that DC Cut Laguna. He's currently 15th with 23 seconds to go in qualifying. Vlad coming through the latter half now of the lap seems to string it up quite well. Dean Atkinson with 107.7. That's put him up into 4th, which is a good start for the Primera driver if he seems to get it dialed up correctly. So qualifying now will be finished in a moment or two. So these guys that are currently on their laps, seeing how well it's going to go. So Vlad's going to push the Masterfit Vetra through the final turn then. Hasn't got to worry about traffic, I don't think. He's just got Panos in that DC Cut Laguna just going. And Vladman still stays pole position at the moment, but however, this guy Noah in the Peugeot 406, he's going to try and push on. Whether he gets a good fast lap, gets out of the banking, it seems a bit slow this time round, but nevertheless it's a good start for the Peugeot this evening, followed by Chris Wheatley's Rocket Cargo record. Dean Atkinson's Nissan Primera wants to try and prove. He's got Adam Morgan ahead of him. That might hamper him quite a bit. We'll see how well he's going to go. Is he going to go into a better position? No, he still stays 4th. Andy White in the Carina 5th then, followed by Chris Clements in that Laguna, still stays 6th. Brian Moncani's BMW in 7th. And of course Scott Dalby's Nissan Primera, the Dynamics machine, in 8th, followed by Adam Morgan in the Laguna, and then Darren in the Honda Accord. So it's going to be very close to see what happens. So it seems to be a bit close for personal between the Vetra and the Peugeot on the front row then, followed by Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord, followed by the Nissan Primera of Dean Atkinson, and then you've got Andy White followed by Chris Clements's Renault Laguna. So we are getting ready for a decent start here at Blue Moon for the first race, the sprint race. The revs are building, as are mine. The fans are getting excited. We are about to get going for round number 7, and it looks like Noah's bogged down on the start. It looks like it's already going to be very close, but jumping already into seconds. Chris Wheatley got to be careful because Dean Atkinson is alongside. A couple of cars squabbling for position further back into the banking we go then. It's going to be last of the breakers into this section, it seems. So Vlad leads them away from Chris Wheatley, followed by Dean Atkinson, and of course Andy White versus Noah versus, I believe that was Scott Dalby, getting a bit into that mayhem into that second corner. He's so far 7th with Noah into 6th, and drops down in 6th. Lee Fitzy at the tail of the field. However, it looks like Russell Spence's Laguna of Adam Morgan trying to push up with Brian Moncani's BMW. It seems Noah's holding on quite a bit. We'll see exactly what's happening in the lead of the race. Vladman so far about to tick off lap number 1 out of 16 then. It seems Vlad's got that Vauxhall Vetra dialed up this evening very well. But it looks like Andy White's Toyota Carina put in under threat from Dean Atkinson. Dean Atkinson currently going to make that Primera the advantage into 3rd place then. However, Noah gets a bit wide onto the rough stuff at the bottom of the banking. Maybe he's just trying to let it go, but you can just see Dean Atkinson there escaping from Chris Clements and of course Andy White. Chris Clements jumps back in, goes a bit rally crossing, clips the grass. That's pushed a couple of signs onto the circuit, which is going to dirty the track. Andy White back up into fourth then with Noah into fifth, followed by Chris Clements. There's a lot of battles galore. Brian Moncani, Adam Morgan, Scott Dalby, Darren Baldwin's also there. It seems there's a lot of cars trying to fight for position. You can just see Adam Morgan launching that Laguna onto the Works Laguna. It seems Brian Moncani also joining in that battle. This is where it's going to be tooth and nail. Darren Baldwin's also in that group with obviously Daniel versus Bokovic, and of course I believe that is also Gareth Morris and of course Lee Fitzy and Panos at the back of the field at the moment. But you can just see a couple of guys going 3 wide towards the banking. Maybe Brian Moncani and of course Chris Clements versus Adam Morgan. This is where it's going to happen. You've got to be careful, because especially if you get the toe off each other going into that banking, it could fire 1 or 2 into the wall. But it seems at the moment that group of people, Brian Moncani gives Chris Clements a bit of a knock out of that banking into the first hairpin for lap number 3. Then it looks like Daniel and Gareth Morris is also trying to work up into this group. Pokovic is also there with Lee Fitzy and of course Panos. They're all trying to go a bit close and personal into that hairpin. You can just see over the overhead shot with Darren Baldwin pushing on Scott Dalby, the Nissan Primera versus the Honda. So it's going to be very close at the moment, but this is allowing the likes of Vlad and Chris Wheatley, the top 2 at the moment, pushing on. But we'll see how well things go between these guys. Adam Morgan currently 6th place, then Noah in 5th, then Andy White in 4th. Noah seems to get that Peugeot up to the back of that Carina. The Toyota seems to be having a bit of an issue. Dean Atkinson still 3rd in that Primera as Noah goes on the attack on Andy White's Toyota, thinks about it but then tucks behind. Maybe that's an advantage to him. Is that going to be how it's going to be? The Peugeot tries to launch back up. You can just see him launching that Peugeot, sighting up a move. Adam Morgan and of course Chris Clements versus Brian Moncani versus Scott Dalby and Darren there, your top 10 sort of thereabouts. With the likes of Gareth Morris's Audi trying to push on in 11th, Bokovic's Alpha versus Daniel's Cavalier, and of course Panos is Renault Laguna versus Lee Fitzy currently at the back in that Ford Mondeo at the moment. On to lap 4 out of 16. It seems that Bokovic is countryman Vladman trying to push that Vauxhall Vectra up into the lead as he is doing. Chris Wheatley still 2nd, Dean Atkinson 3rd, Andy White and Noah, they're still having a battle, the Toyota versus the Peugeot, going on to lap number 5. This is going to be very close. We'll see exactly what's going to happen, but they're almost nose to tail. Dean Atkinson has a bit of a gap, but Andy White is getting held up by Dean Atkinson. That's allowing Noah's Peugeot 406 to try and jump into that 4th place. He goes a bit wide there, but soon tucks back in, thinks about it. But while this is going on, that's allowing the likes of Noah to try and get past Andy White up into 4th. We'll see exactly what's happening further up. You get the Peugeot versus the Toyota versus the Nissan. Looks like Dean Atkinson's got a bit slower out of that turn. Noah's had a bit of a problem, has he? Or has he just gone a bit slow out of that hairpin? He's just lost a bit of ground, so that's allowed Adam Morgan, Rusty and of course Scott Dalby and Brian Moncani versus Darren Baldwin, the BMW versus the Nissan and the Honda and the Audi. Now the Audi of Gareth Morris coming through into still in 11th though, but you know, still a bit of a way to go. You can just see the Audi jinking to the right hand side, but you've got Darren Baldwin's Honda trying to get past that BMW of Brian Moncani at the moment with the Nissan Primera, the Team Dynamics run. Primera trying to catch up to Chris Clements at the moment it seems, but you've got quite a bit. Adam Morgan still in 6th place, Rusty versus Scott at the moment. Chris Clements trying to get that Laguna away from the Primera. It seems it's going to be tooth and nail. Going up to the front though for 3rd place between Andy White's Carina and of course Dean Atkinson's Nissan Primera, Nova's Peugeot also in that battle. There's quite a lot of battles galore going on into lap number 6. This is where it's going to be tasty. This is where it could be a bit of a feisty moment. Andy White trying to push on, trying to get another podium. I believe he's trying to show exactly what he's going to do. He's got that Peugeot 406. If you remember at Largo, Craig Thomas, that normally drives the Peugeot 406, got tapped into a spin, which was unfortunate. And yes, there was a bit of repercussions in the stewards room afterwards. But at the moment, on to lap number 7 we go in a moment or two. Dean Atkinson's trying to get away from this chasing pack. But he's got to be careful because Andy White has got that Peugeot 406 of Noah tucked right behind. But he hasn't now because he's on course to try and get past Dean Atkinson. It's going to be the last of the breakers into that section because it's coming right off that banking, the high-speed banking. It seems a lot. Dean Atkinson is going to be on course to almost 3 wide. That was a bit hot in your mouth moments there. Dean Atkinson versus the Carina. The Carina's trying to go a bit wide. Noah's trying to tuck back in. He's obviously had a bit of a well-deserved debut so far. He's going to be pushing on 5th place. Adam Morgan, however, into 6th. Chris Clements 7th. Brian Moncani now 8th. Scott Dalby's got the likes of Darren's Honda behind him, as well as the likes of Gareth Morris's Audi. That's slowly but surely catching up. You've got Pokovic's Alpha, the Alfa Romeo driver, trying to push on. He's going to be thereabouts. You've got Daniels Cavalier also joining. Panos still in 14th. DC Cook Laguna has not made much ground. Lee Fitzey's Ford Mondeo 15th at the moment. But looking at Vlad, he's got the skills. Currently still there in 1st place. Chris Wheatley 2nd. Dean Atkinson still holding on to 3rd in the Primera. These 3rd, 4th and 5th respectively still raging on with this battle. This seems to be a bit of a close battle between the 3 of them. You've got Andy White's Carina trying to go one way, Dean Atkinson's Primera the other. It seems thereabouts. Noah's 406 trying to push on. It looks like the battle for potentially 8th, 9th and 10th, maybe 11th. Brian Moncani gets 8th place from Scott Dalby. You can just see the BMW versus the Primera. Looks like Darren's got a bit of an issue on his hands with Gareth Morris's Audi A4. He's now dropped down. He's got to be careful because Pokovic's Alpha and Daniels Cavalier are chasing him. These guys are very chaseable. It seems there's a battle. Good lord, Brian Moncani goes one way, Scott Dalby goes the other. The Dynamics Nissan gets in front of the BMW. It almost seems there's a lot of Gareth Morris also gets into that tail of the group. This is going to be very close. Brian Moncani versus Darren Baldwin. Brian Moncani seems to have a bit of an issue. He's dropped down to 13th. Has he had a bit of an issue? Oh no, he's had a bit of a problem. It seems the car is stuck somehow. Seems to have a bit of electrical fault at the moment. So Chris Wheatley, Vladman and of course the top 2 respectively. Dean Atkinson however still 3rd. Brian Moncani's BMW has had an electrical fault. That is a bit unfortunate. He was running so well as well. It almost seemed to be chased down, but at the moment you can just see Andy White, that Toyota, trying to get onto the back of that Primera with Noah's Peugeot 406 trying to push on. It's going to be very quick, you know. That Peugeot is very light and all, but Adam Morgan's Renault Laguna versus the Works Laguna. Chris Clements currently at the moment. Scott Dalby in 8th, Gareth Morris 9th in the Audi, Darren Baldwin 10th in that Honda Accord at the moment, trying to push on. He's about to start lap 10 out of 16, so still pushing on for quite some time. It almost seems Pokovic Alpha versus the Cavalier of Daniel. Daniel tries to defend if he can. He's got a bit wide. Pokovic gets onto the blue stuff. That is not what you want to do, but he gets that place. Almost taps Damien into that sort of grass, but Daniel into the side. They're almost trading paints. Daniel's got a bit of a slide on there. He's got to be careful because that's going to allow Panos' Renault Laguna to jump up into them positions. Lee Fitzy, however, that Ford Mondeo does not look happy at the moment, but in the meantime Vlad is still leading the way for Vauxhall versus Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord. Dean Atkinson now has that gap. Noah versus Andy White. The Peugeot now has got the legs of that Carina, but it's almost nose to tail between the pair of them as they're about to start lap number 11. This is going to be very close to see what happens, but you know, Noah and Andy White side by side, the Peugeot versus the Toyota, going into the banking for the 11th time. This is going to be fantastic. Oh, there's a bit of paint swapping. Who's going to be the last of breakers? Noah gets there, but Andy White cuts back. Knocks a bit wide. The Peugeot and Toyota have already had history this year, but it's going to be very close. Adam Morgan then, however, under threat from Chris Clements' Works Laguna. The two Lagunas almost nose to tail. It's going to be fantastic to see exactly what happens. You've got Gareth Morris there in 8th, Scott Dalby now 9th. Whether the Dynamics Primera is struggling a bit with that weight, but who knows, it would be in a good place to start for race number 2. Darren Baldwin close behind in that Honda Accord, it seems. The Honda seems to be struggling a bit with that weight for second place in the championship. Daniel in 11th, followed by Panos now 11th, well 12th, I beg your pardon. Trying to push on. Pokovic in 13th. Lee Fitzy's Ford Mondeo still eking out 14th at the moment. And obviously Brian Moncani's BMW had electrical issues. But at the moment it seems the battle still for 4th and 5th seems to be raging between Noah and of course Andy White. The Peugeot just got the legs of that Toyota. The Toyota's trying to make a move again, but Noah knows it. The back of his hand, he seems to be pushing. When I say pushing, he seems to be pushing quite well to defend like mad. It seems Andy White needs to be pushing on. You know, you've got the likes of Adam Morgan and of course Chris Clements behind. Both Lagunas almost could be joining this party. They could be unwanted guests to a party if anything arises between these two up in front. Noah's got that 4th place at the moment so far. Andy White in 5th, then the Toyota trying to push away up, or trying to push to that Peugeot 406. You can just see Noah's got a bit of a slide on there. He's obviously trying to defend like mad. This is where it's going to be close. You know, looking at the 69 Peugeot 406 trying to push on for some good valuable points here this evening, subsidising for Craig Thomas. But Andy White goes on that defensive. He's going on that line. Oh, Noah gets back in front. He knows his way round here now. Onto lap 13 out of 16 with 3 laps to go. This is going to be fantastic. Noah's still there chasing after Andy White, but Adam Morgan is under threat from Chris Clements at the moment. The Laguna battles, but Chris gets a bit sideways. That's allowed Adam Morgan to break away. Andy White and of course Noah, they're still side by side trading paint. It's almost like they're trading paint with each other going into these sections. Andy White gets that Toyota back alongside that Peugeot. That Peugeot seems to be a bit loosey, but it's going to be very quick. The Peugeot onto the back bumper though of that Toyota. It seems it's going to work, or is it? Yet to be seen. But I'll tell you what, Gareth Morris and Darren Baldwin, Scott Dalby's lurking in the background. Gareth Morris in 8th place, then that Audi A4 seems to be holding off that Honda, but the Honda is under threat from Scott Dalby's Nissan Primera, the Team Dynamics machine, giving Darren a bit of a shove. But this is where it's going to be tooth and nail between them, with 2 laps to go in the sprint race this evening for the Chell Lawman British Touring Car Championship here at Blue Moon. The Eldar Sim crew are going to be happy with this. Scott Dalby, however, 10th for the moment. We'll try and see what's happening with that battle up the road. Noah's still trying to get alongside. Andy White's trying to get alongside him. And it seems the Peugeot and Toyota, these two, do not want to make a mistake, because that will allow the likes of Adam Morgan and of course Chris Clements to try and close the gap. Andy White's got that Toyota trying to chase the Peugeot. The Toyota gets a bit loose now. That's broken the Peugeot away from him at the moment. That's a bit unfortunate. But the Peugeot is still holding on for dear life. He's on into 4th at the moment, and you can just see the Toyota now dropped into the clutches of Adam Morgan's Renault Laguna, almost rusty in that other, the Works Laguna, followed by Gareth Morris Audi A4, Scott Dalby, and of course Darren Baldwin as we go into the penultimate lap. You know, you can just see Scott trying to make a move. That Team Dynamics Primera tries to make a move on the Honda Accords, but who's going to be the last of the breakers? It's going to be very close. Scott Dalby and Darren chops the nose off that Primera. Scott Dalby, oh, Scott's lost it. Oh no. That's unfortunate. Now he's dropped down to 11th now, because Daniels Cavalier is also, I think the tyre wears slightly, and the weight of the cars are slightly hurting the ones in front. Lee Fitzy, however, into 12th with Pokovic's Alpha behind the Ford Mondeo at the moment, and Panos's Renault Laguna suffering with all that weight, that 110% weight. Vlad Mando goes on to the final lap of the race then from Chris Wheatley, followed by Dean Atkinson. Noah in 4th then, now escaped from Andy White's Toyota Carina, so the Peugeot on course for another good point scoring position as we go on to that final lap of the race. It seems like it's going to be a fantastic moment or two. Adam Morgan chasing down that Toyota with Chris Clements' Renault Laguna, the Works machine, still in 7th. Gareth Morris Audi A4 chasing down Chris Clements. It's going to be very close. Darren Baldwin now has a breathing space between himself and Daniels Cavalier. Daniels Cavalier 10th then, however Scott Dalby's Primera in 11th then. Lee Fitzy, however, under attack from Pokovic's Alpha. The Alpha trying to get back in front of the Ford Mondeo. You can almost just see them going nose to tail, a bit sideways between Pokovic and Lee Fitzy, however, and Panos's Renault Laguna, the DC Cooks, suffering like mad. But I tell you what, we'll go back to that battle if we can. But Vlad takes a win for Vauxhall in the sprint race here at Blue Moon this evening. Comfortable gap ahead of Chris Wheatley and Dean Atkinson. So the Rocket Cargo Honda Accord will come home 2nd. Dean Atkinson's Primera 3rd, with Noah in the Peugeot 406 in 4th. Good battle with Andy White's Toyota Carina though, however. Adam Morgan's Renault Laguna, the Arena one, in 6th. Chris Clements in 7th from the Works Laguna, followed by Gareth Morris's Audi A4. Darren in 9th in the Honda, with Daniels Cavalier and Scott Dalby in 11th then for Team Dynamics. And of course, I believe Lee Fitzy finished 12th ahead of Pokovic, and of course, Pokovic and of course Panos in the Laguna. So it is going to be fantastic to see how well the guys are going to go in the feature race, the 34 lap feature race. I'll just quickly get the race results, and I'll tell you what, it is going to be fascinating to see exactly what is going to happen. But let's go and see what happens. So I'll quickly grab the replay while I'm here, and then we'll get the race results. So Vladman wins race number 1, the sprint race, followed by Chris Wheatley, followed by Dean Atkinson. Noah on his debut subsidizing for Craig Thomas this evening. Peugeot finishes 4th. Andy White's Toyota in 5th, followed by Adam Morgan's Laguna versus Rusty's Laguna 6th and 7th. Gareth Morris in the Audi A4 came home in 8th. Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord 9th. Daniels Cavalier 10th. Scott Dalby, the guy I'm tipping for the top 3 this evening in that Team Dynamics Primera 11th. Lee Fitzy in the Ford Mondeo in 12th, followed by Pokovic's Alpha 13th. Panos 14th in that DC Laguna, struggling with all that weight, and Brian Moncani's BMW had an electrical fault. It seemed it was struggling. Vlad gets the fastest lap for Vauxhall then on lap number 3 with a 107.5. It is going to be fantastic to see exactly what is going to happen for the feature race, the 34 lap feature race. It is going to be very close. Pit stops are going to be crucial, and it is going to be where we're going to be bunching up the field, and it is going to be close as you like. We'll see exactly what's going to happen for the next race. but who knows exactly what is going to happen. So we'll see exactly what is going to happen for the feature race in a couple of minutes time. I'm just going to have a quick drink because I sound like I'm going to be losing my I feel like my voice is going to go in the feature race if we're not careful. So the weight is still going to be the same. I will be back in a moment or two. So I'll be back in a moment. Excuse me. Just give me 1 second, guys. That's it. Yes, it is. So it's going to be very close for the feature race. It is going to be a 34 lap race though. So if you just tuned in, welcome. And you've just missed a cracker of a sprint race. Obviously Brian Moncani's BMW had a bit of a transpired thing, so I think he had a bit of a technical issue in that BMW which dropped him down the field and then ultimately retired from the race. But obviously, you know, the top three in the race, obviously Vlad versus the likes of Chris Wheatley and of course Dean Atkinson, seem to be putting on a very good show for the fans this evening. And it is going to be very interesting to see what happens in the crucial feature race, so round number 8 of the championship. But it is going to be very close. So we're just waiting for a couple of guys just to come back. It seems like, I don't know whether Brian Moncani is coming back, the Belgian, in the BMW. So who knows, we'll just wait and see if he does come back. But yes, it is going to be a very interesting indeed. So obviously, you know, it's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see how well the guys are going to do. Obviously, it's going to be a long time. Obviously, 15 minutes or 15 minutes minimum on the racing mediums. If you start on the mediums, though, you've got to run them for at least 15. If you don't, you have to run them towards the end. I think that's exactly how the strategy plays out. Some go onto the mediums, some go onto the super softs to start with, but who knows exactly what's going to happen for the feature race. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see how well things go. But you know, fair play to people like obviously Noah, Motorstorm Hero, this guy here covering Craig this evening. You know, he did very well, had an absolute stellar of a battle, and it just seemed the Peugeot seems to be adapting quite well to what's going to happen this evening. So obviously, you know, it's going to be close to see how well he does in that feature race. It is a standing start, it's not a rolling start, so it's going to be very close to see how well people go. So I think we're just waiting for a couple more to enter, so we'll see exactly what happens for that feature. We'll just see if Brian Moncani is going to come back, but so it's going to be very close to see what is going to happen. So I believe it's going to be Panos' Laguna that will lead them away. A bit more heavier, it's still the same weight, it's still going to be heavy, and it's still going to be probably close to for comfort. But who knows, the guys are getting the final practice session in. Maybe Vlad can make it 2 from 2. Who knows, because the Vectra seems to be unstoppable at the moment versus the Rocket Cargo Honda Accord. But there's a lot of laps to go in this race. 34 laps around here may be crucial. It may be a bit of a challenge to, you know, timing them to perfection, trying to get at least a couple of cars up and running. But it's going to be very close. The traffic here is also a nightmare, and that's probably going to be a factor as well, because it is 34 laps instead of 16 like it was for the sprint race. So we're going to be going in 2 minutes time, so I'm just going to go and top up my fluids, and I will be with you in a moment or two. So let's see what is going to happen. I believe we're going to have to obviously count our trusty chickens to see exactly how well everyone's going to go. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. Let us know if you can. Let us know in the comments what you think, and please like and subscribe to Eldar Sim Racing. It will help us out massively, and it will also help me out massively for doing commentary as well. So it's going to have to be set, because it is going to be very close. I wonder if Darren needs to grid. So he's going to be setting the host, setting the grid, but because Brian Moncani's just rejoined, so he will be at the back. The BMW will be at the back of the grid, which will be very close to see how well things go. So everyone will be thereabouts. So it will be then Brian Moncani from Panos versus, well, no it won't, Panos will be first, followed by Pokovic versus Lee Fitzy. So the Renault versus the Alfa versus the Ford. Scott Dalby's Dynamics Primera has a good starting position this time round. Then it will be Daniel's Cavalier versus Darren's Honda, Gareth Morris Audi A4, Chris Clements Renault Laguna, followed by Adam Morgan's Renault Laguna, Andy White's Toyota versus Noah's Peugeot, versus Dean Atkinson and Chris Wheatley in the Nissan and the Honda, followed by Vlad's Vetra and then Brian Moncani's BMW at the tail of the field. So that will be the grid for race number 2. So it will be the grid for the 34 lap feature race, and we'll be very good to go or thereabouts when we can. We're just getting the grid to be set. It will be very close. Hopefully we'll be in great proximity for the rest of the evening. It seems like we're going to be in for fantastic stuff. So exactly 2 to 3 moments or so till we get underway for the feature race, round number 8 of the championship, and it's going to be very close this time because pit stops will take consideration, but it is going to be a fantastic night. It will be here, there and everywhere for a bit of action, but feature race is going to be underway very shortly, so it is going to be very close and personal, but try and catch up to the live bit on the stream. So we are good to go for the final race of the evening, the 34 lap, and then so 34 laps feature race. It is going to be close. Pit stops will be crucial, especially seeing what tyres they go on. But looking at the grid then, it's Panos from Pokovic versus Lee Fitzy, so the Renault versus Alpha versus the Ford. Then it is Scott Dalby's Dynamics Primera versus the Cavalier of Daniel, and then Darren Baldwin's Honda versus Gareth Morris's Audi A4. So we're getting ready for a start. The fans are in position, I'm in position in the commentary box, the revs are rising, as is my voice. It is about to go. Who is going to get a good start? Quite a bit of wheel spin from the front two then. It looks like Daniel's got a decent start between the pair, but Pokovic is leading versus Scott Dalby, the Primera, already looking to second then the Team Dynamics Primera. Brian Moncani's BMW at the tail of the field. So Pokovic and of course Scott Dalby. Lee Fitzy goes on that a defensive attack. There's almost 4 cars wide. Noah gets a bit crossed up in that Peugeot. We'll see exactly where that's dropped him. Has that dropped him to the tail of the field? Yes, it has. Are we going to be able to pick it up from thereabouts? No, he's just lost it onto the grass by the looks of it. But currently Pokovic versus Lee Fitzy versus Scott Dalby then. Scott Dalby in third then in that Team Dynamics Nissan Primera versus Panos is Renault Laguna. The Ford Mondeo seems to be doing very well to try and catch up to that. Tries to catch up to the Alpha. Gareth Morris. Oh, there's a bit of contact between Panos and of course Daniel. The Cavalier hits into the side of the Laguna, the DC Cook Laguna that is, with obviously the likes of Panos and of course Chris Clements, the two Lagunas sandwiching Daniel. Adam Morgan in the arena, Laguna also there. The Lagunas are gaining up onto that Cavalier, it seems. Oh, there's 4 wides going onto the banking. Oh my goodness, now going to be 3 wides. This is close. Breathe in. Andy White's Toyota Carina gets there as well. So the Carina on top form at the moment. This is close. How close do you want to get, guys? This is fantastic racing between this, but this is allowing Lee Fitzy, or however Lee Fitzy in that rapid fit Ford Mondeo seems to be rapid at the moment because he's actually in the lead of the race at the moment. And Panos 7th, Andy White in 8th, and Adam Morgan in 9th. However, that could be soon 8th place. It's going to be getting close for comfort. Dean Atkinson's Nissan Primera and Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord right behind the pair of these guys, it seems. I'll tell you what, this is fantastic. The feature race already providing some early entertainment battles with Darren Baldwin 12th, Brian Moncani's BMW in 13th, and Noah's Peugeot 14th at the moment, and Vlad got a bit of an issue with that engine in his Vauxhall Vectra at the moment in 15th then. So it looks like Pokovic has taken the race lead from Lee Fitzy, but they're going to be battling for first and second. The Ford versus the Alpha. The Alpha having a bit of the advantage at the moment. Looks like Gareth Morris's Audi A4 versus Chris Clements in that Renault Laguna. Daniels Cavalier. Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be close between everyone. It's going to be a bit of a nose-to-tail battle. Scott Dalby, however, Nissan Primera, the Team Dynamics machine, versus Chris Clements in that Renault Laguna. Daniels Cavalier trying to jump up into that Renault Laguna. He's trying to get past. He gives Chris Clements a bit of a kiss on the way out. Then he gets in front, but he almost puts Chris Clements into the wall. That is a bit unfortunate. Chris Clements will probably be anguished and in anger in that Renault Laguna as we're about to start lap 4 out of 34 then. So it seems we're still a long way to go. Adam Morgan also tucking behind. It's not a touring car start. Adam Morgan, it is the Welsh namesake, currently in that Laguna, the arena. Motorsport Laguna, got Daniels Cavalier alongside. Oh, there's a bit of squeezing. Nose to tail. Adam Morgan goes onto the grass. Dean Atkinson sucks him right behind. He knows where he's going to put that Nissan Primera. You can just see the Primera, the Vodafone sponsored one in front of the likes of Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord there, almost side by side between the Laguna and the Cavalier, going into the latter half of that hairpin. But Daniels got back in front. Dean Atkinson's there. The Primera still latching onto the back of these guys here. From 6 down, there seems to be fantastic battles at the moment. Daniels got that Cavalier dialed up, but even more so at Dean Atkinson's Primera, putting on a good show for the fans at the moment. It seems Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord versus Andy White's Toyota versus Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord. Brian Moncani's BMW 12th at the moment, doing a stellar job, with a Noah's Peugeot in 13th, with Patnos in 14th at the moment. He's had to pit. Maybe he's picked up a bit of damage there, with Vlad in 15th at the moment, but Lee Fitzy still leading the way then, with Pokovic's Alpha almost there. Nose to tail between the pair of them. Gareth Morris in the Audi still there in third. Chris Clements trying to get past. He's got past. I think he's got past Scott Dalby's Nissan Primera, breaking into the hairpin then it seems. Adam Morgan, however, holding off Daniels Vauxhall Cavalier. This could be fantastic battles, but Adam Morgan's getting a bit frustrated for the train behind him. He's got Dean Atkinson, Daniel, and of course Chris Wheatley. Adam Morgan runs a bit wide. That's allowed Daniel to get onto the alongside that Laguna. The Laguna gets a bit crossed up. Dean Atkinson's also there. This is going to be battles galore between the pair of them. Going onto the banking then. Start lap number 6 out of 34. Still a long way to go in this race. There will be quite a bit. There's 3 cars, almost 3 wide onto the banking. This is close. This is close. How you like this racing. Daniel goes one way. Dean Atkinson, however, gets up into 6th. Adam Morgan now 7th. Runs a bit wide. Oh, he's clipped the wall. Is that giving him a bit of damage though, is it? And he's lucky to escape there, the Laguna driver. He's got Andy White's Toyota Carina alongside him. Andy White's got to be careful on that braking. He's tapped the back of Adam Morgan's Laguna at the moment. He's almost right neck and neck behind him. Darren trying to chase him down in the Works Honda at the moment. The Works Honda trying to push his way back up. Brian Moncani still 12th. Noah in 13th, Panos 14th, and Vlad in 15th at the moment. Not having a good race so far in the feature race, but it seems Scott Dalby's now trying to chase down Chris Clements in the Renault Laguna. The Laguna versus Primera. The Primera trying to get back up into the top 4 at the moment. It seems Daniel's on the attack from up to Dean Atkinson. Daniel's got that Cavalier versus the Works Nissan. The Works Nissan trying to push on. Daniel gets that Cavalier in front just about. Dean Atkinson does that move sensationally backwards and gives Daniel back 7th place at the moment. It looks like Scott Dalby, however, 5th place, with Chris Clements fourth at the moment, it seems. Pokovic is under threat from Gareth Morris in the Audi A4. The Alpha driver has got the Audi right behind him now. This is where it's going to be tooth and nail between the lot of them. It almost seems where we're going to go. For that time being, it looks like Lee Fitzy has a comfortable lead of 2.6 of a second then from Pokovic versus Gareth Morris versus Rusty and of course Scott Dalby. Scott's got that team dynamics out. Nissan working to his advantage at the moment. It seems Dean Atkinson's Nissan, the Works Nissan, trying to push away from Daniel's Cavalier. Chris Wheatley on a Honda Accord still in 8th then. Adam Morgan now under threat from Andy White's Toyota Laguna, trying to get away. He's now got Andy White's Toyota alongside. This is going to be last of the breakers. It's going to be very close. Adam Morgan gets that Laguna, tries to get it back into 9th place, but Andy White gets that Toyota in there. Darren's coming on a great speed of knots in that Honda Accord. You can just see him thereabouts. This is where it's going to be very tooth and nail. Brian Moncani's BMW is still 12th. Noah's Peugeot 13th. Panos trying to now push away. He's the heaviest of the Lagunas at the moment. And Vlad in 15th in that Vectra Race 1 winner. But looking at the battles, it seems there's a lot of cars nose to tail. Gareth Morris tries to put Pokovic's Alpha under quite considerable amount of pressure. This is where it's going to be tooth and nail. Seem to be a lot of battles galore. Chris Clements still holding on to 4th at the moment. Scott Dalby's Nissan Primera 5th, with Dean Atkinson in the Works Primera in around about. Gareth Morris has 2nd place from Pokovic. Pokovic's almost nose to tail with him. Scott Dalby's also there with Chris Clements, but he's got Dean Atkinson in the Works Primera trying to get alongside the Dynamics Primera. Is he going to do it? Yes, he is. But Scott's gone that defensive. He's got Daniel's Cavalier. Oh my goodness. This is where it's going to get fantastic battles galore. You can just see Dynamics Primera drops back down to 7th place. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord, the Rocket Cargo one, currently 8th then. Adam Morgan still there in 9th with Andy White's Toyota in 10th. Darren trying to catch up to these guys in that Works Honda Accord then. Seems obviously Brian Moncani thereabouts in 12th. It seems the guys that were putting on a good show in race number 1 at the tail of the field at the moment. Chris Wheatley's trying to push on, wants another podium. Scott Dalby 7th, with the likes of Dean Atkinson now jumping into 4th with Chris Clements alongside. Chris Clements gives him a bit of a touch. This is going to be close between the pair of them. Daniel's Cavalier is also there. It looks like there's going to be a lot. I'm just seeing Scott Dalby get onto the grass in that Dynamics Primera. Daniel and of course Dean are having a bit of a battle. Daniel tries to get through. Dean's a bit feisty out of that hairpin. Gets that Primera right alongside that Cavalier. The Cavalier's trying to chase after the Renault of Chris Clements at the moment. The Works Renault versus the Cavalier versus the Primera versus the Rocket Cargo Honda Accord of Chris Wheatley now, because Chris Wheatley has got up into 7th. The battles are raging quite well. We're on lap 10 out of 34, so we're not even at half distance yet. But this is where it's going to get fought for tooth and fought for nails, most likely. But this is where it's going to be Pete and Tong, Hammer and Tong, you name it. Daniel goes one way with Chris Clements. Oh, Chris Clements gives him a bit of a shove. Is that going to allow Dean Atkinson to get back into 4th place? It's going to be close. Chris Clements runs a bit wide. Daniel goes one way. That's taking Chris Wheatley with him. There's almost 4 cars battling for 4th place at the moment. Chris Wheatley, you can just see him, the Rocket Cargo. Daniel's up into 4th in that Cavalier with Dean Atkinson 5th at the moment then. Chris Clements, however, coming back on that attack. Chris Wheatley also there. There's almost 4 cars battling for 4th place at the moment. Pokovic's out. Oh, there's a lot. lot of battle. Pokovic's Alpha still in third, Gareth Morris in the Audi A4 second, and that's allowing Lee Fitz's Ford Mondeo to get even more into the lead. And Daniel's actually still in fourth place at the moment. Dean Atkinson gets fifth place back from Chris Clements' Renault Laguna, with Chris Wheatley alongside now, almost alongside the Renault. The Honda drivers coming on a mission. Just watch this guy, he's a fantastic racer. Scott Dalby's Team Dynamics Nissan Primera almost there, catching these guys back up. Dean Atkinson runs a bit wide, but Chris Clements even runs even deeper, clips the marker post there. Has got Chris Wheatley for company. Chris Wheatley on a massive charge. In the meantime, Daniel and Pokovic, they're battling the Alpha and Cavalier. Scott Dalby's literally back up into the frame. Dean Atkinson, has he got a problem? No, he's just dropped down to like 8th place, but it's almost forecast Scott Dalby in the Dynamics Primera into 7th. Then he's got Dean Atkinson behind him in the Works Primera, with the likes of Chris Clements in the Works Laguna thereabouts. But this, the top 4 now are escaping. The top the next group of cars, Chris Clements and of course Scott Dalby battling Dean Atkinson as well. Chris Wheatley is just in up the road. There's going to be 3 wide yet again. This is going to be close. I can't believe it exactly. Chris Clements tries to go. Dean Atkinson gets into 6th place then. Chris Clements in 7th. Knocks into Dean Atkinson. Dean Atkinson thinks about it. He'll have the inside light. There's a bit of nose to tail, bit of contact between the pair of them. There's a bit of squeeze, maybe a bit sideways. Adam Morgan loses a place to Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord in the background. You can just see Dean Atkinson putting the tail of the field. You can see Scott Dalby and Chris Clements trying to battle. But this is why it's going to be fantastic. But going back between Daniel and of course Pokovic, Cavalier versus the Alpha, it's going to be very close. We can just see these two at the moment. You've got Daniel still 3rd place at the moment then, with Pokovic in the Alpha. They're still trying to break the toe from each other. Dean Atkinson still there. Scott Dalby against Chris Clements at the moment. Chris Clements in that Laguna trying to get alongside the Dynamics Primera into the banking. This is where it's going to be tooth and nail between the pair of them. My voice feels like it's going to disappear, but you know, Scott Dalby 7th at the moment. So far so good. This is where the battles galore will happen, but there's quite a lot of cars. Chris Wheatley is in there, Pokovic and of course Daniel, they're slowing each other down. Daniel's dropped down to 4th then. He's almost alongside, he's almost back into 3rd, but he's back in Pokovic into 4th, into Chris Wheatley. Dean Atkinson's also there. There could be excuse me, Pokovic alongside Daniel. There's a bit of touch between the pair of them. They almost clipped the barrier. Chris Wheatley up into 5th then. This is going to be close. Onto the 15th lap thereabouts. But is it going to be time? You know, they're breaking the toe from each other. Scott Dalby thinks, yeah, I'm going to go into pit lane, get away from this traffic, because this is going to be holding me up. Chris Wheatley and Pokovic then, however, are battling. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the pair of them. Chris Wheatley gets through. Dean Atkinson's also there. Daniel's slowing them up though. Oh, this is great stuff. We'll see what's going on at the back in a moment or two. But that's allowed Dean Atkinson, Pokovic and of course Chris Clements to get alongside. This is seriously interesting and close as you like. This is why the championship is so much fun. The Laguna Alpha versus the Hondas and obviously the Toyota. Obviously, you know, Andy White in 8th place in that Toyota Carina, Adam Morgan's Arena Motorsport, but Chris Clements under threat from Pokovic's Alpha. The Laguna almost got shoved into the wall. Pokovic is almost thereabouts. The Laguna trying to still hold on for dear life. Lee Fitz's Ford Mondeo goes into pit lane then. So he's thinking, right, enough's enough now. I'm going to try and come back. and fight another battle very shortly, but you know, Pokovic is there. Daniel, however, for second place under threat from Dean Atkinson and Chris Wheatley. Oh my goodness, what is going to happen? Chris Wheatley in second, Daniel third, Dean Atkinson. Oh, there's almost three wide. The pair, the three nearly make contact. Daniel gets into second, Dean Atkinson third, Chris Wheatley now fourth. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of cars now battling for these positions. Chris Clements fifth, Pokovic in sixth, Andy White seventh, Adam Morgan in 8th, Darren Baldwin 9th, Brian Moncani 10th for the moment, Lee Fitzy in 11th, Scott Dalby in 12th, Vlad in 13th, Panos 14th, Noah in 14th at the moment, a lap down, and Gareth Morris still leading the way in the LDA 4. Daniel's probably going to be the first one to go and pit out of this group now. That's allowed Dean Atkinson and of course Chris Wheatley to get into second and third respectively. But what is this? Chris Clements, however, under threat from Pokovic's Alpha. The Laguna's got to go one way. Andy White's Toyota Carina, he's almost there with bounce. It's going to be very close. Pokovic's Alpha goes a bit wide. Andy White's Toyota. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the pair of them. That's allowed. That's allowed Adam Morgan's Arena Motorsport Laguna on the tail. Oh my goodness. This is going to be fantastic. I can't believe how the Laguna gets alongside that Alpha. The Alpha is just struggling at the moment, I think. But that is allowed Chris Clements to just escape in fourth. Adam Morgan, however, oh, he's got the Alpha. He's got the Alpha alongside him. The Alpha's going to be thereabouts. This is going to be fantastic. Andy White's Carina. Oh, there was a bit of tap and a kiss, wasn't there, between the Carina and the Alpha. This is going to be great stuff between these guys. The Arena Motorsport Laguna versus the Alpha versus the Toyota. This is scary stuff. We're on lap 18 out of 34, so we're near enough at half distance now. Adam Morgan's got to defend from Pokovic's Alpha. Oh my goodness. Andy White's Toyota gets a bit crossed up, gives Pokovic a bit of a tap. Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord also there. Got to be careful between the pair of the three of them. They're going to try and make it free wide into the hairpin. Andy White thinks about it. Darren's slowing them up with the Alpha and Toyota and Honda. Both respectively going to be pushing on. It's going to be a very close proximity battle. Who knows what is going to happen between the pair of them at the moment. Andy White is not letting Pokovic out of his sight just yet because he's got Darren Baldwin in 6th place at the moment. That Honda Accord seems to be powerful now. Andy White goes into pit lane then, so he will be the next one to pit, but that is allowing the likes of Darren Baldwin to try and get away. But Dean Atkinson, however, this guy is on a massive charge in Nissan Primera, chasing down Chris Wheatley's Rocket Cargo Honda Accord. This has been absolutely on fire this evening. That Rocket Cargo Honda now versus the Nissan versus Chris Clements' Renault Laguna. That is allowing Gareth Morris in the LDA 4 to escape up the road. Chris Wheatley going to be second, Dean Atkinson at the moment third, Chris Clements fourth at the moment, with Adam Morgan's Arena Motorsport Laguna, the independent one, behind. Darren Baldwin's Honda in 6th, then Pokovic 8th, Brian Moncani, Pokovic 7th, Brian Moncani 8th, Lee Fitzy 9th, Scott Dalby in 10th, with Daniel and of course Vlad in 11th and 12th. Vauxhall Cavalier versus the Vectra. This could be another very fantastic battle. Andy White 13th, then Panos 14th, with Noah's Peugeot 406 struggling at the moment in race number 2, the feature race in 15th at the moment. Gareth Morris, however, first place. Then Dean Atkinson up into second. Then that was an absolute stellar move. If we can catch that, is this going to be easy? We'll see what's going on. It looks like Chris Wheatley is braked a bit early and Dean Atkinson broke later, and that allowed the Nissan Primera back in front of the Rocket Cargo Honda Accord. This is fantastic stuff. We're on lap 20 out of 34. Where has the time gone? Chris Clements in 4th, then Darren Bogman still 6th in that Honda Accord. What is going on, guys? This is fantastic stuff. I can't believe how well things have gone. You know, these guys are probably going to have to pit this time round. You know, the stints, you know, it's going to be very close. Darren's got that Honda a bit sideways. Does that mean he's going to pit? Or is it just there? Chris Wheatley is the first out of this group to pit, so that's going to be allowing the likes of Dean Atkinson still in second. He's 7.3 of a second from Gareth Morris's Audi, though, so the Nissan's doing a stellar job versus Chris Clements in the Renault Laguna. Adam Morgan in the independent Laguna, 4th place. Darren chasing him in 5th place in the Works Honda Accord at the moment. Then Pokovic's Alpha in 6th. Then Brian Moncani's BMW under threat from Lee Fitz's Ford Mondeo. The BMW rides up against the wall. This is where it's going to get close. Lee Fitzy now, he's trying to overtake that BMW. He's on coat of fresh rubber. He's almost. Brian Moncani will have to pit, no doubt. But this is where it's going to get close. Brian Moncani's BMW versus Scott Dalby, now 9th. Bit disappointing for the Team Dynamics crew at the moment. Daniel in 10th, then in the Vauxhall Cavalier versus Vlad's Vauxhall Vetra with Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord. Andy White's Toyota Carina just behind. You can just see Chris Wheatley then trying to put these two under pressure. This is where it's going to get close. Daniel's holding them up though in that Cavalier. You can just see the Cavalier versus the Vetra versus the Honda. Honda Accord's trying to push on. Oh, it's getting close. Vlad goes into pits though. However, Chris Wheatley then stays out with Daniel in 7th. Then who was that coming out of pit lane? Adam Morgan comes out of pit lane just as them the guys go through, so he's going to be on colder tyres. Chris Clements goes out of pit lane as well. Chris Wheatley then under threat, well, putting Daniel under threat, the Cavalier versus the Honda Accord. The Honda Accord at the moment then on course for a bit of a challenge. The Honda trying to get alongside the Vauxhall. Into the hairpin we go. On to lap 22 though. However, Chris Wheatley, you know, this guy's established winner and racer. Scott Dalby 6th now then. He's going to be pushing on that Team Dynamics sponsored Nissan. Brian Moncani's BMW 5th. Lee Fitz's Ford Mondeo back into 4th then. Darren in the Honda still 3rd. Dean Atkinson's Nissan Primera in 2nd. Gareth Morris, I beg your pardon for burping, in 1st place in the Audi A4. Seems to be putting on a good show at the moment. But he's going to have to pit this time round. Darren's going to have to pit as well. There's quite a few drivers at the moment that are going to have to pit. Lee Fitz's still there. Brian Moncani's BMW pushing on. Scott Dalby's Nissan as well. Chris Wheatley up into 7th then. And Daniel in 8th then in that Vauxhall Cavalier. He's got Adam Morgan and Andy White in the Toyota and Renault. It's a bit close between the pair of them. A bit of argy-bargy in the feature race it seems. But I'll tell you what, it's good class racing between the lot of them at the moment. And we're going to be on course for what could be a very stellar race towards the latter half. Dean Atkinson goes into pit lane. However, Darren goes into pit lane as well, so that's going to allow quite a few guys thereabouts. Scott Dalby versus Brian Moncani. Brian Moncani's BMW seems to be having a bit of a nightmare at the moment, but however, this could be very close. Scott Dalby up into 3rd, then Brian Moncani 4th. Darren in pit lane alongside with Dean Atkinson. Chris Wheatley there in 5th, then Adam Morgan 8th. Daniel currently under threat from Andy White's Toyota. The Cavalier versus the Toyota. But that's got a bit of an issue because Dean Atkinson's just joined right in this battle. There's going to be 4 cars. Oh my goodness. 4 cars. No. It's not going to work. Or is it? Daniel gets ahead of them. Andy White and Dean Atkinson though. Then Toyota versus the Nissan. The 2 Japanese cars trying to push away. You can see Chris Clements' Renault Laguna. It's going to be close. This is where we're going to go with 10 laps to go in this race. So Chris Clements 10th for the moment, Pokovic's Alpha in 11th, Darren in 12th in the Honda Accord, Vlad's Vauxhall Vetra 13th, Noah in 14th now in that Peugeot 406. Seems to be adapting quite well now. This is going to be close. We'll see exactly what's going to happen in a moment or two. Gareth Morris jumps into pit lane. This is where it's going to get closer though. Oh, he's leapfrogged Scott Dalby into second place though. However, Scott Dalby still holding on. There was a bit of a battle going on between Dean Atkinson and of course Daniel the Cavalier versus the Nissan. Chris Clements in the Laguna versus the Carina. Oh my goodness. What is happening with 9 laps to go? This is fantastic. Daniel's trying to push on. He's got that Cavalier. Oh, he's lost a couple of places now. He's now in 9th with Andy White's Carina in 8th versus Chris Clements' Laguna in 7th. Dean Atkinson Nissan Primera currently 6th. Adam Morgan in the independent, the Arena Motorsport Renault Laguna in 5th then. Chris Wheatley in 4th, Rocket Cargo, Honda Accord. Scott Dalby now onto the podium in that Team Dynamics Honda Accord. Gareth Morris in 2nd place then in the Audi A4. Lee Fitzy in the lead of the race yet again, trying to push on. Panos 15th in the Laguna. Noah 14th at the moment. Vlad 13th then. Brian Moncani 12th in that BMW. Seems to be having a bit of a disappointing evening for the Belgian at the moment. Darren Baldwin 11th, Pokovic and Daniel side by side, the Alpha and Cavalier still raging their battle from the early laps before Pokovic thinks about it in the Alpha. Darren's got to be careful. He's got Daniel's Vauxhall Cavalier in front of him. That's going to be a bit of a battle to keep an eye on. Andy White and Chris Clements, the Laguna versus the Toyota. With only a handful of laps to go now. Seems to be very close. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. But it seems on to lap 26 out of 34 then. The Cavalier versus the Honda battle. That seems to be raging quite a bit. 10th and 11th. This is where it's going to be tooth and nail and hammer and tong. I can't believe how well everyone's going to race tonight. This has been fantastic. You know, Daniel's got that Cavalier, trying to push that Cavalier. Darren's got the Honda power though. Are they going to make it cleanly into the second turn? I bet they will. They no doubt they do. Darren gives him enough room to cut back in, but Darren goes 10th then. Pokovic there in the Alpha in 9th then. Andy White and Chris Clements, the Laguna versus the Toyota. Almost side by side. This is close for comfort. This could be exactly how you want, but I'll tell you what, this is where you want to go. Chris Clements tries to get past that Toyota, wants to get back into 7th place. Only his 4th race now of the season, standing in for Nate Fletch this evening, so you know that's going to be fantastic. But he's got to push that Laguna to the Toyota, it seems. But we're on to lap 28 then, with only 4 laps to go. Dean Atkinson trying to catch up to Adam Morgan. Adam Morgan tries to catch up to Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord. You can see the Arena Motorsport Renault Laguna pushing to that Rocket Cargo. He's got to be careful because Dean Atkinson in the works. Honda, Scott Dalby's Dynamics Nissan, he's holding these guys up. Gareth Morris gets past Lee Fitzy. So the 2 Welsh boys, the Audi versus the Ford. it could be a battle for first place between these guys. Oh my goodness. Just shut your eyes and don't look, because you don't want to miss. Oh no, Chris Wheatley's got Scott Dalby for third. He pushes Scott Dalby a bit wide. Adam Morgan's Nissan Renault Laguna seems to be pushing Scott Dalby's Nissan. The two Nissans are almost in the interlocking battle. This is going to be close. Oh my goodness. Scott Dalby's dropped down to 6th though. Chris Clement's back. Oh, he's got a 5/10 penalty. Oh dear. He's got a 5/10 penalty. He will have to take that. He's not taking it so far though. He's going to have to seriously take that penalty. It will go against him. Scott Dalby though, however, is he going to get back onto the podium before the end of the race? 3 laps to go in the feature race. Here at Blue Moon, Adam Morgan and Dean Atkinson, the Laguna versus the Nissan. Lee Fitzy in the Ford Mondeo though, he's Gareth Morris has now escaped in that Audi A4. This is fantastic stuff. Excuse me. Lee Fitzy's Ford versus Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord versus Dean Atkinson's Nissan. Adam Morgan's Renault Laguna. Scott Dalby though, Team Dynamics Nissan. He's going to have to push on. Dean Atkinson's trying to get away. You can just see the battle for second is almost going to be on between Chris Wheatley and Lee Fitzy. I can't believe what is going on. You know, Chris Clement still with that penalty. It's not going to, you know, he's going to have to seriously get rid of that, because that is going to double his time. It's a 5/10 penalty. Yes, he might have a bit of a gap, but it's still going to hurt him. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Chris Wheatley has been overtaken by Dean Atkinson. Lee Fitzy's dropped down to 4th. Can we pick it up? Let's have a look then. Dean Atkinson just goes on the bottom line. What a stellar move from Dean Atkinson into 2nd, then Chris Wheatley and Adam Morgan. Oh, this is going to be close. You still see Chris Clements with that 0.5 second of a penalty. Adam Morgan up into 4th then in that Arena Motorsport Laguna with 3 laps to go. This is going to be heart in your mouth moment. Scott Dalby 6th. Chris Clements still 7th with that 5/10 penalty. That is going to hurt him. Andy White in 8th, followed by Pokovic, with Darren Baldwin now trying to chase after him. The Honda versus the Alpha, we'll try and join that battle if we can. Daniels Cavalier 11th, Vlad in 12th. Then the Vetra versus Brian Moncani's BMW. Noah in that Peugeot 406. Is he pitted, or is he just 14th? Panos in 15th then. Gareth Morris then, however, leads them away. Dean Atkinson in the Nissan 2nd. Chris Wheatley's Honda Accord 3rd. So the Audi leads the Nissan versus the Honda versus the Renault versus the Ford versus the Dynamics. Nissan Primo Rusty's Renault Laguna in 7th. Still has to get rid of that penalty. It's gonna go against him. Andy White though, however, in the Toyota Carina in 8th, then chasing him down. He knows, you know, Pokovic in 9th then with Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord chasing hot on his heels with around 3 laps to go this time. It's going to be soon 2 laps to go in this race. This has been fantastic stuff from every single driver this evening. It seems to be tooth and nail between everyone. It seems to be a hammer and a nail. You've got to be careful, because you don't want to put the nail through the board and then realise you've hit a wire and it could all go wrong. But Darren Baldwin's got that Honda. He's like a live wire, got that Alpha dialed to where he wants it to be. He's the next target. Pokovic's got that Alpha trying to escape the Honda. This is going to be fantastic. Chris Clements, however, trying to get up to Scott Dalby, but he's still got that penalty hanging over him. He's not going to be wanting to get away with that. He's got to seriously get rid of that penalty. Scott Dalby will be like, if you pass me, mate, I'm not going to be happy. You know, Lee Fitzy in 5th then, however, Adam Morgan fourth, with Chris Wheatley still in third. The Laguna versus the Honda trying to defend like mad. Onto the penultimate lap we go in a moment or two, but all this is playing into the hands of Gareth Morris's Audi A4 at the moment. And he's almost out of fuel. This guy, he's unstoppable. He's almost out of fuel because he's pushing too hard. Dean Atkinson, Adam Morgan goes for the defence. Oh, he's gone for that line. He's gone for that famous line. Chris Wheatley, oh, they both touch. Oh, that was a heart in the mouth moment. Chris Wheatley's got overtaken by Adam Morgan. Yes, that is right. Rusty's still there with that 4/10 penalty. Scott Dalby, however, but this is the problem. Rusty's got that penalty. Chris Clements has that 4/10 penalty. Scott Dalby knows he will have 6th place back. Lee Fitzy though, however, Chris Clements has got not enough fuel. Adam Morgan and Chris Wheatley. Chris Wheatley's almost there as well. They're almost out of fuel. What is going on? Onto the final lap we go in a moment or two, but I tell you what, Rusty's got to be careful. Scott Dalby, I don't know what to think, because it's going to be very close. Andy White 8th, and Pokovic and Darren, they're still battling the Alpha versus Honda. Daniels Cavalier, Darren's got that Honda. Darren's almost out of fuel. I can't believe this. He's got to conserve that fuel now. Onto the final lap we go. Daniel in 11th, Vlad 12th, Brian Moncani 13th, Noah in 14th, and Panos in 15th then. But Gareth Morris, this guy is unstoppable. He knows how to win races regardless of the fuel. But I'll tell you what, Dean Atkinson second, Chris Wheatley and Adam Morgan in back down to third, then Chris Wheatley in fourth. It could be, well, Chris Wheatley third, Adam Morgan fourth. I got a bit confused there. Chris Wheatley into third then. However, Gareth Morris coming through the latter half of the lap now. This could be very interesting. The Audi A4 is going to take another victory. Since round 1 at Brands Hatch, he is about to take another victory. He will be happy with that. Dean Atkinson in this on second. Chris Wheatley in the Rocket Cargo Honda Accord in third, with Adam Morgan's Laguna in about there. But that was a bit unfortunate, because Chris Clements took his penalty right on the line. He finishes 6th. He lost out to Lee Fitzy's Ford Mondeo. Scott Dalby 7th, could be 6th in post-race penalties. Andy White in 8th, with Darren Pokovic's Alpha in 9th, followed by Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord. Daniels Vauxhall Cavalier in 11th, Vlad in 12th in the Vauxhall Vectra. Brian Mulcahy's BMW 13th, Noah in 14th, then in the Peugeot, and Panos in the Laguna, the DC Cut Laguna, in 15th. Not a happy evening for Panos, but that is exactly how things go. And half of the field were almost out of fuel. Rusty takes that penalty, but it may go against him for not serving it until the last lap, until the lot near enough the line on the last lap. But Gareth Morris takes the race win for Audi, and it is going to be a very quickly, evenly matched race. But we'll go through the race results and also go through what I think, if my voice decides to hold up. But you've got the lot. This was it's a fantastic race. And yes, Darren, I did get the replay. I've got both of them, mate. But we'll go through the race results for round number 8 of the championship, the feature race. Gareth Morris takes a well-deserved victory for Audi versus Dean Atkinson's Nissan Primera. Chris Wheatley in third then for the Honda Accord, the Rocket Cargo machine, versus Adam Morgan's Arena Motorsport Renault Laguna. Lee Fitzy Ford Mondeo in fifth then. Chris Clements in the Renault Laguna, the Works Laguna, in sixth. May go against him post race, but we'll see. Scott They'll be 7th for Team Dynamics. Then Andy White's Toyota Carina in 8th. Pokovic's Alpha in 9th, followed by Darren Baldwin's Honda Accord 10th. Daniel's Vauxhall Cavalier in 11th. Vlad in the Vetra in 12th. Brian Mulcahy's BMW after electrical fault in race number 1 13th. Noah in the Peugeot 14th, and Panos in the DC Laguna in 15th. Bit of a disappointment for Panos maybe, and Vlad is taking the fastest lap on lap number 26 with a 107.048, and it is going to be very close, guys, going into the next round of the championship with, I believe, if I remember rightly, we are heading to our top list next week. It is going to be fantastic to see what is going to happen when we go to our top list on the Grand Prix circuit in a week's time. And don't forget, Friday is the big one where we will be doing World Supercars for the next round of the championship at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix loop. And I've been Hoppers for Eldar Racing, and this has been the Chell Lawman Motorsport British Touring Car Championship. I'll tell you what, guys, you are going to be in for a treat when the championship, with only 4 rounds to go, it is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see what happens next week when we go to Autopolis, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, guys, take care, enjoy the rest of the week. I'm going to have to go because my voice is definitely on the way out. So until then, guys, take care and have a good night. Ta-ra.